What's going on everyone, Ollie Rodriguez Solomon here, and today we are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Logic's album, No Pressure. I'm going to be sort of talking about my opinions on the album, how I found it listening to it a year later, and telling you what it sort of means to me. And I would love to hear your opinions on the album and what you thought of it 1 year later compared to how it was when it released or whatnot. I would just love to hear your opinions, so go down in the comments and let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more music related content, and let's talk about No Pressure. So this album right here, it's either a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't decide. I feel like I may just say screw it, it is a 10 out of 10 because of how much it means to me. If you want to know how much it means to me, it's my first ever tattoo and it says No Pressure. Will it focus? There we go. I think it may be in reverse though, but No Pressure on my arm. I've got it tattooed because I love this album so much and how much it meant to me. I think I've gone back and forth on this a lot of time. If I can't give it like a numbered rating, I have to say it's my favorite project of him of all time. Like I was a bit like when it first came out, right? It's definitely in the top 3. I'm not sure if it beats The Incredible True Story or Under Pressure, but it exceeds them in my opinion, especially with what it's trying to deliver. Like this is the perfect retirement album. It gives you the sense of a person who has grown and has actually developed as a person. It clearly expresses like how Logic is feeling and how, not even Logic, I wouldn't even call this a Logic album, I'd call this the Bobby Hall album. Like genuinely, it feels like it's not really the only song I would argue is a Logic song is Perfect. And it just felt like Logic sort of embraced himself more and just decided he's just gonna be himself, he's gonna be Bobby Hall, he's gonna pick up that pen, he's just gonna write. And obviously there are only, as the song 5 Hooks says, there's literally just like 5 hooks on the whole album, the rest of it is written, and it is so good. Like, and this album proves that in nowadays, in the culture of rap and whatnot and hip-hop, you don't need to just keep making albums or songs that are just hook based, hook based, hook based. Like, yeah, they help and get streams and whatnot, but this proves good music and hip-hop can still just be rapping. And on this project there are 15 songs. I checked it on Spotify just to make sure I was right, and each song is so good, and I'm going to give you my top 5 right now. In no particular order except from 1, I'm going to say Amen, Heard 'Em Say, 5 Hooks, Hit My Line, and finally Man I Is, because that was my most played song of 2020. Like, out of all the songs I played, that was on my Spotify Wrapped as the number 1. So if I didn't put that as my top Logic song, or at least the top like number 1 of this album, then what can I say? Like, it is the best song on this album in my opinion. I've listened to it so much. It is such a good song. And to me, this album is what got me off my arse, because I'd kind of gone on a bit of a, like, because obviously I rap myself, and basically this album got me off my arse to actually make my next project, because I feel like I'd been working on it for so long. I had like all the raps written and I kind of been getting a bit lazy with it. And when this album dropped, it made me go, I want to get to this point. I want to get to a point in my music career and actually get to say I've achieved the goals that I set out to achieve. And I made Dreamland, and on that album cover, I'll put a picture of it right here if I can find it. This EP I made was like actually inspired by Logic's No Pressure album, and I expect, like, one of the beats was even actually a No Pressure inspired beat, and I decided to use it, and that was part of the plan. And funny story about that, Logic actually reacted to the guy Nathan who made the beat and listened to the beat of it. Hasn't heard my song though, which would be amazing to like get that to him, but like if you would actually look on the cover of this, there's a poster on the front of the building, and it's actually this one, and it basically says, "To my inspiration, thank you," in the language of the Ultra 85. And obviously the color of it is No Pressure inspired, and it's just like my sort of ode to him and like thanking him and whatnot. And I'm just saying that to just sort of just show you how much the album like had an impact on me, to the point of I went out and made a project like that, even though I was already working on it, it really lit a fire under me and got me to go out and actually do it. It got me to throw a tattoo on my arm for the first time. I was at university, I was struggling, and I would go and listen to this album. Like, it helped me through the depression of like my experience at university. This album meant so much to me in terms of, for me, I think it's more of the seeing an like idol of mine and actually seeing them get into sort of the end of like where they were in their career, me being like, they've had such a good career, I want that. And sure, Logic's had his grey areas. Like, I think everyone who's a fan of Logic can see there's a bit of a grey area. From Everybody until Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, there was a grey area there. There was some good stuff in there, and I feel like a lot of it's overlooked, but it was a grey area in my opinion. And No Pressure was just that thing that sort of reignited why people see Logic the way they see him as a rapper and why he can be so good. Like, Logic genuinely should be considered amongst Cole, Kendrick. He should be on that level next to Drake. He should be. His issue is, in my opinion, is he's his own worst enemy, and I think misinterprets a lot of the criticism he gets. And instead of making good music, like, let's take the example of Confession of a Dangerous Mind. A lot of people didn't like it, but I feel like they didn't like the potential it didn't live up to. But it's still a good album. However, it's not a great album. And that's the difference from Confession of a Dangerous Mind, Young Sinatra 4, Supermarket, Everybody. It's what separates those albums from The Incredible True Story, Under Pressure, and No Pressure. Those are all good albums, but these ones are better and are great albums. And everyone who's a Logic fan and has got into Logic knows the potential he has because of the Under Pressure, because of The Incredible True Story, because of No Pressure. And when No Pressure released, that spark was reignited, and it was kind of like, fuck, he's reignited that spark and he's fucking off. He's out of it, he's gone, he's retired, and he's retired on top. And a year later, looking back at that idea that Logic was gone, he's released 5 new songs in the span of the last 5 weeks, and he's releasing a project probably next week. It's this really awkward position for me, in all honesty, because after the album dropped, he seemed very persistent on actually saying he's done with the business side of music and he's retiring from that side of it, no longer dealing with labels. It's kind of the idea that he was sort of telling everyone, essentially. And then he went on to release the Planetary Destruction with Doc D. I didn't mind that, and I thought it was like really good. It showed Logic having fun and doing it to a good standard. And he also did the Twitch tape. He then also started dropping the Magic stuff, and it was really great to see Logic still making music. And it was kind of more of a thing where it's like, if you were a fan of Logic, you were still getting new music from him. And the thing I felt was everything that he had been doing felt like a natural progression from No Pressure. And No Pressure felt like the perfect place to stop doing at least the music business side of stuff. He left on a high and didn't say that he would stop making music. I mean, that was kind of the interpretation that was given off, but everyone knew Logic was still, like, he's given so much to music. He can't just stop just like that. He's still gonna like make music, he's still gonna release stuff, and it's just like, I would be perfectly happy if Logic never made another studio album and he left it at that, but he kept giving us mixtapes and shit like that and just made stuff that he would just release every now and again. But I believe it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago he announced that Bobby Tarantino 3 was releasing, and my first reaction was, great, he's back, he's making music. And obviously he released the first single, Intro, and that was kind of his way of saying he's back. And to me, Intro was the perfect single that reintroduced Logic, saying he's back from retirement. And if it was just sort of that, and the music he was releasing sort of felt similar to what that song was doing, or he wasn't doing a Bobby Tarantino 3, I feel like it would be a great place for him to come back to. However, I feel like what my worry is with Bobby Tarantino 3 is that it's not what people are going to be expecting from him. It's obviously just him, as he put out on the tweet, he sort of said he's just having fun and it's just real raps and just fun tracks, whatever it fucking was. But it's like, No Pressure is such a good album that you have to make sure everything that comes out after that either is on the level of that or exceeds it. And coming back with something like Bobby Tarantino 3, as excited as I am for it, I'm gonna fucking listen to it. I'm making a reaction video to it. I hope I'm proven wrong. But like, if you're coming back with Bobby Tarantino 3 and you're trying to make it follow on from No Pressure, you are going to need to count your fucking luck that it is great and like people are going to like it. Because out of all the singles that have come out so far, I've enjoyed several of them. Other people are giving too much hate to some of them. I don't hate any of the songs. I think they're all decent, but when I compare them to something like No Pressure, they're a bit, I don't know, they just feel a bit underwhelming. So ironically, Logic has a lot of pressure on him to make sure that this mixtape, Bobby Tarantino 3, lives up to the other two, and also lives up to what he's done with No Pressure. But we'll probably be here on Friday talking about the mixtape and seeing my actual reactions to it. I hope it's really good, I really do, and I hope it does live up to, in some way, No Pressure. But let's try and wrap it up now. No Pressure is a fucking fantastic album. This album is going to age well. It's going to be something that people can listen to in 10 years time. And this album feels like what's missing from hip hop currently. And like, I love a lot what comes out of hip hop. I don't want to be that guy who's like doing the whole Eminem thing of being like, whatever, just like, oh, it's all mumble rap. It's not. Like, I enjoy some of that style of music, I enjoy the current stuff, but I do wish there was more stuff like this right now. And I feel like the legacy of this album is gonna be amazing and like live on. However, what Logic decides to do afterwards, I feel like he's got a lot to live up to. And if this was me personally, I feel like if I would have come out of retirement to do the last 2 things on the label or whatnot, I feel like I would regret it because of how well this album is, like, as a retirement album. Like, if Logic's next few projects aren't up to standard, I'm still just going to consider the fact that he's still retired and this was a perfect place for him to stop, and I would just consider it that. But anyway, I love this album so much. I'm sorry if I kind of went on a bit of a side thing of what this video may have been setting out to be, in the sense of talking about Bobby Tarantino 3 and like, or even just like the future of Logic coming out of retirement, because I feel like it's important to acknowledge where we're going next with Logic. And obviously this isn't just the like, it was supposed to be a retirement album, but it kind of was very short-lived as a retirement. I feel like Logic was doing so well with staying in retirement from the music business and still making music that people who were fans of him could listen to, and it kind of felt like there was that connection and like he had kind of done what he wanted to do, and it feels like he's now just inversing it all and redoing the good work he had done. And it's like, I hope the music he's releasing is good, but it's kind of like, I kind of wish it as well was just sort of underground music now, and I thought that's kind of what Logic was going to go and do, and just make his underground music and leave the whole music industry in terms of the business sense, but keep making music and releasing it to the people who want to know what he's doing and like to his fans, and it kind of be a thing like sort of just between them. And I just thought it was important to at least acknowledge that side of it. But other than that, this whole project is such a masterpiece in my opinion. It pays ode to everything that Logic had done in his past and where he was like going with his family and just how his life had changed and everything, and just like it felt like a real reflection, and it really felt like an amazing full stop, and just each song has something that's there and just like captures the imagination of something and just great to listen to. And this should be an album that sort of sets a standard, in my opinion, that people should, who are trying to rap and whatnot, this should be what they're trying to do, in my opinion. And for that reason, I think this album is a 10 out of 10. It's a great album and I love it so much. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you very much for watching this video and listening to me just talk about an album I love. Go and make sure, like, if you want to see my actual first reactions to it, then make sure to click that button right there, because it will take you to the video where I first ever reacted to it live. Like, I think it's like a 30-minute video, and it gives you my first impressions of that, and you can watch that video and then you can see what I thought of it still a year later, because that'll probably give you more of my thoughts on each song independently. So yeah, anyway, I've been Ollie Rodriguez-Stallman. Take care. Maybe go out and check out my mixtape. Hey, just throw it out there. But yeah, I'm happy to still hear new Logic songs coming out. I'm looking forward to reacting to Bobby Tarantino on Friday, I believe. But yeah, we shall see. But I think it's fair to sort of have this expectation / worry about what the future may have in Logic songs, but we'll see. I love the man. I'm gonna listen to everything he's doing. So take care, and I'll see you later.
If you don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me, it won't bugger me. You're the sort of person to watch a film and animate what it means. Just watch a scene where I'm turning this stream into a luxury. Rating my life with 5 stars, there's a high bar and ain't much to me, cause I'll pull up and when I come down, I'll crush the beat. This is OID in its prime before it arrives, so you better